Hello and welcome back to Talking Planning, and today I'm on the Sunshine Coast and I did something that I don't think almost anyone else does, and that is I used public transport to get at least part of the way here. So what I did this morning is I drove to Landsborough Station, got on a rail bus to Nambour, then got the 610 from Nambour to Maroochydore, and now I'm sitting on a 611. For a city of only 330,000 or so, it's just amazing how much traffic the sunny coast has, so forgive my sarcasm for how few people actually make that journey by public transport. For example, to try and improve frequency along the Sunshine Coast rail corridor, they run timetabled weekday rail buses, which kinda helps, but it just doesn't have the same visibility as a train would, or capacity. Then again, capacity is much less of an issue there than coverage. And I'm planning to head around the sunny coast for a little bit by bus. This is 5638 and it is a Bustech XDI. This Bustech XDI was built in December 2010 and is fitted with a Cummins ISC engine. On the topic of the XDI, integral Bustech products like the MDI and XDI were really popular when Sunbus was owned by Transit Australia Group. TAG owned a variety of operators including Sunbus and Surfside, as well as Bustech themselves, before they were dissolved. Sunbus also has operations along much of the Queensland coast, including in Rockhampton, Townsville, Magnetic Island and Cairns. When Sunbus and Surfside were acquired by the Kinetic Group, Bustech wasn't included in the sale, so that's why we're starting to see a bit more bus variety at both Sunbus and Surfside. Anyway, back to today's bus. This is your garden variety XDI, fitted with the typical Bustech seat fabric, bench seats, signature stop bells and blue handrails. If you like custom designs tailored uniquely for small volume operators, look away because this is exactly the opposite. If you want to see a unique vehicle at Sunbus, check out my review of 5757, a state transit spec Volvo B8 RLE, which they acquired a couple of years ago. The Cummins ISC fitted to this XDI is an 8.3 litre turbo diesel, available with up to 330 horsepower and 1350-ish Nm of torque. I'm not exactly sure which power output this bus has, but because this bus has an integral body and it's a fair bit lighter than having a separate chassis, there's some less weight to push around. So let's have a listen to this bus now. I've always found public transport travel on the sunny coast quite polarising because on one hand, it can be a nice way to relax and see the sights. But on the other, journeys often take a lot longer than you might expect. And further, there are also plenty of areas on the network where the sights are just rows of blonde brick and weatherboard shacks. The other thing about the sunny coast that really gets to me are the ridiculously wide road alignments. Considering that people choose somewhere like the sunny coast for a relaxed, laid-back lifestyle and often a place to retire, crossing a 6-lane highway just to get to the shops seems to really contradict that. I'll spare you the rest of my sunny coast irony, but locals wanting exclusionary policies that encourage that sort of design just isn't going to make this better. At least crossing over these canals is quite nice. Anyway, now that we're nearing the end of our journey, it's important to think about how people experience our cities, not just from their cars, but also on foot, by bicycle, e-scooter, mobility scooter, and of course, on public transport. And on that front, we're almost at Sunshine Coast University Hospital, where the 611 service terminates. Once again, thank you for joining me on Talking Money, and that was a review of the Bustech XDI at Sunbus.